What's going on, Alpha Pack? It's your boy Alpha Male 926, aka Mouse Sauce 926. Welcome to another episode of Modern Monday. Today we're gonna talk about my journey with my first platinum of 2024, Vampyr. Now, I done had this game for a good little minute, at least I want to say since 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And I started it, and I played like maybe the first 10 or so minutes of it, and then I just kind of stopped playing. And then I want to say that's around the same time when my PS4 originally went out on me, so I didn't get the chance to finish it. And about time I had re-got another PS4, I didn't re-download it or anything, so it's kind of just been sitting in my library. And one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just play this and see how it go down and see if I could platinum it. And I said, screw it. So that's how we got to this point today. So thank you all for watching. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. For all the ones that's been here, thank you so much for all the support. I greatly do appreciate you all, and I do love you all. So let's go ahead and get into today's video, shall we? Compared to Sekiro, this was a very, very, very easy platinum to get. All you got is 29 trophies, and you can play the game. Technically, you can really play it through one time and just do some backup saves, maybe twice or so, and you're good to go. So it doesn't require too much, man. Like I say, it's pretty easy. And thanks to OptiNoob, I hope I'm saying his name right. I could be saying it completely wrong, because using his guide is how I went and got this platinum. So really, if you really want a simple sit down, about 8 videos long, you can watch that and that'll help you platinum this game 100%. So that's what I did. So I owe him a big help for that. Made it easier finding all the collectibles and things of that nature, but we'll get into that when we cross it, you know what I'm saying? So let's just go ahead and dive on in, shall we? So as soon as you start up, you find out that you're a vampire. You end up taking the life of someone that turns out to be your sister, which you find out immediately. And then when you leave from that area, you gotta run away from all the enemies that's outside, because you can't really fight anyone yet because you don't have any weapons. But once you get to your shelter and rest, that pops your first trophy. Immediately after that, as you're going through and you finding your way, trying to get to safety and a safe haven again, eventually you run into Dr. Swanson. I'm gonna call him Swanson because Swansea, I guess, but I'm gonna call him Swanson though. And once you follow him after a small little boss battle, you get at Don Road. Now, as soon as you get off the boat, you're going to run into Clay. There's 2 trophies behind him. One is to embrace him, which is basically bite him. Just to bite is the name of that trophy. And then merciful release, which is let him live. So that's where you're going to want to back up your data at that point, right before that. The main save that you want to keep is keeping everyone alive, because there's a trophy that's tied behind that of keeping all the citizens alive and not taking no lives. So that's going to be your main save. So at first you can bite them and get the trophy, which I believe that is called just a bite, and then reload it up, download the save back, and do merciful release and keep that as your main save. Now, throughout London, there will be many little safe areas that you can stay and rest and level up and craft things and all of that. But around each one, typically in around where there's boss areas, there's going to be rats running around, which you can eat. I know that sounds disgusting, but you got to take out 10 rats and they'll unlock the trophy, Pest Control. Now, while speaking on that, while you're out and you're looting up things, and there's going to be certain materials you're going to need so you can upgrade weapons. And while you're at one of your safe locations, you can use the craft bench and you can upgrade a weapon. Then I'll give you another trophy called That's Better. Now, by just doing the main story and following along, most of these trophies are attainable. Nothing's really too much off a beaten path. But one of the first major decisions you have to do, and also remember, you have to keep a lot of these characters alive so you don't ruin the other trophy that you need later on. The first one being Interview with a Vampire, which you have to take care of Dorothy's fate. Now, Dorothy is a nurse at Pembroke Hospital, whom you find out is blackmailing Lady Ashbury, another friendly character of yours. Well, technically your love interest. But Once you go meet her, you gotta keep her alive, which makes her be a merchant to you, so you can go back to her later and buy some things that you might need through the playthrough. You don't have to really go back to her. It's mainly about just keeping her alive so you don't mess up your other trophy. Also, while you're playing in the game, and something that you have to pay attention to only twice is Hippocratic Oath, which is the next trophy. You have to heal 10 citizens. So, like I say, at those crafting stations, you'll be able to craft medicine. They'll have different ailments and things of that nature, but the most common one is fatigue, especially in the beginning. So you can go and craft 10 things of fatigue and just carry them around with you for the majority of the game and wait till it hits with everyone, and then you can just give everybody the medicine and they'll give you that trophy. Then after that, there's another boss fight with Fergal or Fergal. I'm calling him Fergal, I guess. That's a weird name to say, but he is the watchdog of the Scaling Club, and basically he'll be following you around for a little bit, and then once you get, I want to say, into the sewers, you end up having to fight him. It wasn't that hard of a boss fight. It was actually kind of fun, low-key, but he do hit hard, so you got to do a lot of dodging. By that point, I think my weapon was, I want to say, maybe green. I could be completely wrong, but the mace is the weapon I used the majority of this, and it didn't let me down at all. So, because most of the legendary weapons that you want to have are all locked behind killing the citizen, and you can't do that. So, unfortunately, you don't get those weapons later on. But I had no problem going through the whole game with just the regular mace, so it worked out for me. Which eventually, after that boss fight, that leads you to Sacrificial Lamb, which you have to decide Sean's fate. Again, you want him alive, and you meet Sean after you save him from the first boss, William Bishop. Eventually, you find out that he was infected and he gets turned to a skull. But he didn't hurt anybody, didn't kill anybody, so, we kind of let him be where he was going to be at. And I don't really think you get anything from letting him live. I don't think you do. You might get a collectible, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But, hey, gotta let Sean stay alive, for now at least. Then, leveling up your weapons to level 5 will give you the Solid Metal Gear trophy, which is a pun on Metal Gear Solid, and I like that. And there's another game pun trophy later on. But then after that, you find out that your sister Mary has turned into a vampire from your bite, which shouldn't even really be possible technically, but hey, you got that type of strong vampire blood that you can actually turn people into vampires. And then you gotta find out, you gotta fight her, kill her, and you unlock the other trophy, Hail Mary. And after that, another boss fight, which is with Doris, whom is Harriet's daughter. Harriet was also infected, and she was at Pembroke Hospital, and the daughter would go visit her, and that's how the daughter got infected. They both ended up infected, but Harriet infection was sort of worse, a lot worse actually, because Doris wasn't hurting anyone, but we'll get to that later. But by defeating Doris, you get the trophy, Death on Stage. After that, the next trophy you're going to get is Prepare to Die, in which you have to decide Alonius' fate. Now, Alonius, you meet him after you've been invited to the Ascalon Club by Lord Redgrave, and he tells you to turn Alonius into a vampire. You have to refuse, and by refusing, you also heal everyone in each district in the game, so that helps you with that. But I do believe that if you bite him, that technically counts as a citizen dying, and they'll probably ruin that trophy. I'm not 100% sure, because I didn't try it myself, but you refuse so you can heal up everybody in the game, which gives you a little bit of cushion, so that's the route you want to take. After that, the next trophy you're going to get is Bury the Hatchet, which is a boss fight with McCullum, who is a vampire hunter and believes that Jonathan is the reason for the outbreak. They eventually kidnap Edgar, who is Dr. Swanson, by the way, and after you fight McCullum and beat him, that leads you to your next trophy, the Dying Swanson, which you have to decide Swanson's fate. Now, you find out that it's his fault that the epidemic is out the way it is, because he took some of Lady Ashbury's blood and infected Harriet with it, which caused the whole outbreak in London to begin with. So it's his fault that most of the things in the game has happened the way it has. So eventually you let him die. That doesn't mess up your trophy at all, so that's all good to go. Now, as you're progressing through the story, you're going to come across the trophy Bloody Roots. Now this one was a little bit difficult, I'm not gonna lie. So this one is one of those side quests that you have to do. And I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I believe his name was Usher. You get the quest from him and you have to find this collectible. And when you get the collectible, you don't open this collectible. Now, there's a lot of other collectibles in the game that you can't open and it will give you XP. But if you open the collectible for him after you'll know when you're doing the quest for it, because all the quests always pop up in the right-hand corner. If you open this will ruin that trophy, so you won't be able to get it. So, you don't open it, you take it back to him, and then there's a room right before you walk into where he is, and there's a little puzzle that you got to look at the paper that he gives you, and it'll show you little icons like a fish, a diamond, a square, and a circle. And you got to follow whichever path that is, and it's different for everyone, which is crazy, but it doesn't make it any harder. And once you do that, you open it up, and they'll give you that trophy for Bloody Roots. Now this is the next game punned trophy, which is Unlife is Strange. Now there's a plant at the Pembroke rest location, and while you're playing through the game and you're looting up everything, you're gonna loot pure water. Now you keep that item and you give it to the plant when you get back to your hideout at Pembroke. And when you rest 3 times, the plant will grow. And once the plant grows, the trophy will pop. At this point, you're at the end of the game, and you got a 2 boss fight coming up. One is against Harriet, which she's pretty easy as long as you dodging her hits. And then the second one is the Red Queen, which you're going to want to use majority of your firearms for her because she's resistant to melee damage. But at this point, you should have your 1 melee weapon, which for me was the mace, and your Parabellum, pistol, and shotgun should all be maxed out, so it should make the fight a lot more easier, as well as all in other boss fights as well. They were pretty high. I want to say for the majority of the playthrough, if you follow Optinoob's kind of advice in his videos, you'll probably have a majority be blue to purple during the majority of the playthrough. So it makes a lot of the boss fights so much easier than just regularly. So trust me, follow his video and you'll be good to go. Then at that point, you should get the trophy, not even once, to complete the whole game without taking the life of a citizen. After you get the not even once trophy, you're probably going to automatically get the Taste for Blood trophy by finishing the game. Now at that point, that's when you're going to want to reload your save, which I should have also made sure that you did a save right before Unnatural Disaster. But you redo that save, and then you go back right before the last boss fight, which at that point you can get the last little cleanup trophies, which is Anarchy in the UK, by turning 1 district hostile. Now by you doing that, all you gotta do is go around and mesmerize certain characters that you're gonna end up needing to do in order to get certain weapons from them. Because there's a couple characters throughout the game that have guns tied to them, but you're gonna need those guns for your other trophy, which is Weapon of Choice, the Tools of Profession, Keep Your Distance, which is your ranged guns, your melee, and your offhand weapons. And I want to say there is 12 one-hand weapons, 8 two-handed weapons, 13 offhand, and 11 firearms. So by getting all those, they'll give you those 3 trophies. Then the last trophy, Lorekeeper, which is the collectibles, and there's 33 collectibles you need to get. Now, some of them you can get from just casually going through the story when you're picking up items in all the little areas. And then there's some, I believe, that will be laying out on tables and dressers, things of that nature that you gotta loot to find. But if you follow along with the video, like I told you, for Optinoob, it's super easy. But if you're just going through it casually and you find yourself missing maybe 1 or 2 here and there, At the end, I was even able to go back and find something that I thought I was going to not be able to get, which was all the way in chapter 4, and I thought I was going to have to play through it all over again. But you were able to get back to a majority of the areas that you visit throughout the game, so you can find something if you leave something behind. So if you do, worry not, you'll get that chance. After that, the last trophy, time on my side, which is the platinum, will pop. Now, like I say, man, this didn't take me too long, even though I initially started this game in 2019. I just didn't finish it. But after I booted it back up and played it again, this took me like maybe about 2 days. And that's just because I was playing that and then stopping and going to play something else and then coming back to it later on for a couple, maybe 2 hours or something, then leave and all that. But it's possible that you could do this in 1 day. It's not that hard of a platinum at all. It was actually pretty easy. And it was pretty fun too. Now, I don't know if they're going to ever come out with a Vampyr Part 2, but if they did, I would definitely play it. It had its little bugs here and there. Nothing too crazy game breaking, nothing like that, but I had a blast with it, man. So let me know in the comment section down below. Have you played Vampyr? Do you plan on playing Vampyr? If you're on the fence about it, I know it's not a super old game, but it's about 4 years old at this point. It's still fun. So thank you all for being here, man. That's going to wrap up today's Modern Monday video. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. And as always, man, I appreciate you all. Love you all. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.